Nikola Topić looks a little bit familiar.
Said it, I'm golden. Told you I'm shining. Had to break through. Plan perfect timing.
So we're less than a week away from the 2024 NBA draft, and Bleacher Report just released their most updated mock draft, where at number 15, they have the Miami Heat selecting Nikola Topić. Now, this is a guy that obviously I haven't really watched. He was over there playing in Europe, but he's of course a name that I heard of because up until a couple of weeks ago, he was pretty much a consensus top 5 pick. Now, unfortunately, we did hear the news a couple weeks ago that he did suffer a torn ACL, and because of that, we kind of can assume that his draft stock will slip a little bit, so much so that a lot of mocks have him going at or around 15. Obviously, Bleacher Report has him coming to Miami. I saw that Yahoo has him going at number 18. The Ringer, which is led by that bum Bill Simmons, has him going at number 13. So still some range there for Nikola Topić, but obviously he's a guy that could probably fall to mid to late in the first round just because of the injury. Is there some other issues? A little bit. We'll kind of get into that today. Now, Nikola Topić is a very raw, very young prospect, just 18 years old, but he comes in at 6'6" with a 6'6" wingspan, even though I did check his official combine measurements, and his wingspan is like a quarter inch shorter than his height, but that's fine. I'm not going to get on him for that. Obviously, you'd like to see if he could have a bigger wingspan. I know Heat fans, the one thing we always give Tyler Hero crap for is his negative wingspan, and I think that really limits him defensively. But either way, Tyler Hero 6'4", Nikola Topić is 6'6", which is pretty great size for a guard, and he's only 18. I suppose he could still keep growing, right? Because he is just a kid, and he comes in at 203 pounds. So still, even for his size at the guard position, he's fine, right? I want to go over his stats a little bit here. I'm going to put him up on the screen just because I want to try to break them down for you. Obviously, I'm not too familiar with Europe ball, but if you do look at the bottom two teams here, he only played 2 games apiece. Some was in a league called the ABA, not the ABA before the merger with the NBA. Some league in Europe, and then he was also in EuroLeague. But I want to go to his mega season in which he played 12 games because I do think that that'll be the most realistic statistics. Also, the same team that Nikola Jurisic played on, which is a second-round pick guy that's going to go this draft. I actually made a video about him as well. I think he'd be a nice fit for the Heat. This is also the same team that Nikola Jovic played on too. So basically, I think it's good practice just to draft a guy if his name is Nikola, because obviously Jokic is a hooper. We like Jovic. You got Nikola Vucevic. You got Nikola Mirotic. Has there been a bad Nikola so far? I don't know. But in those 12 games with Mega, he played 33 minutes a night, and he averaged 18 points per game, 7.1 assists, and shot 52% from the field. So I think those are pretty good numbers. I do want to direct immediately to the one thing that does kind of concern everyone, which is the 26% shooting from 3. That's obviously not very good at all, but he did take 4.5 attempts, so he's at least a guy that's confident when getting up the shot. I don't know. It's not really that promising to me. The one thing that you could look at and say is a positive is whenever a guy's not shooting the 3 ball great, you like to at least look at his free throws to see if there's some potential there with regards to shooting. And from the free throw line, I mean, that season he shot, 86% from 3. In the next not next season, but I'll just say in his career he shot 87%, because I was gonna try to break down his season by season free throw, but there's obviously some variance there in games played. But point is, this is a guy that is great from the charity stripe, even though his 3-point percentage is ass. Now, I did actually go and look at his form, and like a lot of the guys that we've talked about so far, like that have shooting concerns, like Isaiah Collier or Devin Carter, there's positives to their form. Well, Devin Carter, not so much. That wasn't great, but I think Isaiah Collier's form is fine. Like Khalil Ware, his form is fine. I think there's room for improvement there. I don't really like Nikola Topic's form. I feel like he alligator arms it a bit. It looks like the elbow is stuck out a little bit. Now, it's not terrible. It's not the worst looking shot in the world, but it's not that great. But I don't want to get on him for any of these negatives too much because he's 18 years old. We got to kind of treat him like a raw prospect because he is one. Now, I will just say from a Heat fan perspective, though, or just as a Heat team, what the front office should be thinking, they're obviously trying to win now. That's why in all these videos I've been saying I prefer the older prospect for the most part. I like the Tristan da Silvas. I saw us trying to get Tyler Kolek the other day, a 23-year-old guard from Marquette. I do like the idea of getting some of these older guys, although Isaiah Collier is still my number one. Now, I want to kind of address this from the beginning because I'm not a huge fan of Nikola Topić, I'll be honest. We'll kind of get into a little bit more why. But a lot of it is the same reasons that Isaiah Collier has, like as far as negatives. Young, not a great three-point shooter, relies too much on driving to the paint. But I think there's some differences there that I guess we'll also kind of get into of why I like Isaiah Collier a lot more than Nikola Topić. But the one thing that kind of we always came back to within all my research that I've done on Nikola Topić so far is one name, Goran Dragic, which of course, one of my favorite players of all time. Gogi, I wish he could have came back to the Miami Heat. He said he wanted to, but he loves it down here. He is truly the definition of a Heat lifer. But basically, in every Topić comparison I saw, they had Goran Dragic. And at first I was like, that's stupid, right? Because it's like, for example, anytime there's a white guy, they always compare it to a white guy. Anytime it's a lefty, they always compare it to a lefty. Anytime there's a European itch, they compare it to a European itch. And I thought that's what they were doing here. But then when I started watching the highlight, I saw a lot of similarities because Nikola Topić is elite when it comes to driving into the paint and finishing at the rim with all kinds of crafty lays, great handle to get there. And that exactly reminds me of what Goran Dragic used to bring to the Miami Heat and really every team he's been on. Because Dragic was so fast, he could beat all his defenders by in the first dribble. And Nikola Topić is amazing at that. And that's really what he relies heavily on. He has 7 field goal attempts per game at the rim, 68% finishing rate, which is even higher than Isaiah Collier's 61%, because that's kind of Isaiah Collier's bread and butter too, is getting to the rim with these crafty lays. But I will say, watching Nikola Topic's highlights, I was very, very impressed. He had some tough finishes, can use his left hand, can use his right hand, and overall, that is just, he is elite at driving. Like, I cannot understate that. How good he is and how skilled he is at finishing at that age is nothing short of impressive. But I will say, that's pretty much where the scoring capabilities end. That's it. 3-point shooting, we obviously said is not great. I said the form is iffy. Doesn't really have much of a mid-range game. That's really it right now. And for a Miami Heat team that is trying to win now, and they have a lot of other great pieces, and you can't have Nikola Topić. I'm going to keep mixing it up. You can't have Nikola Topić with the ball in his hands all game. I don't think the fit-wise is great. Now, Nikola Topić might be a great shooter one day. He might be a versatile scorer one day. The Miami Heat just don't have time to sit around and wait. And as a guy who's really only good at driving, that means Topić is not good off ball at all. And on this Heat team, they're going to need a guy that can play off ball a little bit. Now, the reason that I don't want y'all to think I'm hypocritical about Isaiah Collier is because Isaiah Collier, one, he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he still shot 34% from 3 his first and only season in college. That is way higher than the 26% that Nikola Topić shot. So there's levels to this. Kind of same thing I was saying about a lot of Heat fans like Ron Holland. I still prefer Isaiah Collier. I know he's smaller, but Collier, I really believe in his jump shot. I think that's kind of what it comes down to. I think it's a lot better than what we've seen, and that's part of the reason I'm so high on Isaiah Collier. Now, Collier was a decent passer, and so is Nikola Topić, although I would say Nikola is much better. His handle's very good. He's very good in the pick and roll, especially as a facilitator, and those are things that also make Topić dangerous. So I don't want to say his offensive side is limited to just drives, because he's also a great passer. Now, most of those passes are out of drives, but he still has very, very good vision and can move the ball excellent there too, even better than Isaiah Collier. Now, defensively, there's not a lot of great stuff to see there. He's very slow laterally. He's not great on ball defense, and that's something that you can't say about Isaiah Collier. Collier wasn't great on defense, but he is just so quick laterally. He's built, you know, like a bulldog, and I think he would be a really great perimeter defender because of that. So that's sort of another reason that I'm a lot higher on Isaiah Collier, because there's not a lot of potential for Topić to be a great defensive player. Hey, we compared him to Goran Dragic, who is not a great defender either. I think maybe he can match Goran's peak defense, which isn't great. So I'll kind of leave it at that as far as the defense. And on top of all of that, you obviously have the injury concern with Nikola Topić. It's just an ACL, which fortunately nowadays with modern medicine, players are able to recover faster and better than ever. So I don't think they'll have an issue, you know, with him long term, but he probably won't be ready to start the season. And just, I don't want to have in the back of my head, is this guy injury prone, especially with the Miami Heat and all the injuries that we know they've endured over the last several seasons, specifically with their other star guard, Tyler Hero. I just don't want to have a guy with injury concerns. And I know that still young, things could change, so it is kind of stupid to say, but that kind of is another tick in Isaiah Collier's box. Just a reason I would sort of trust him more, at least going into next season, because I mean, at least we know he'd be available, right? So that's just sort of another reason I'm pretty high on him. I really am. Even as a finisher, he's still super crafty. Definitely a little bit more athletic, I think, than Nikola Topić too. And I just think he's going to be a better player in the NBA, at least at first, which truthfully is what I care about, because I'm trying to win a championship this year. And at 18 years old, Nikola Topić is just too young for me and not quite as versatile as I'd like to see for the Miami Heat to target in this draft. But anyways, that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. So let me know what y'all think down below. Do y'all think I'm sleeping on Nikola Topić? Do you think he really can achieve Goran Dragic levels of, you know, talent? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. If you stay to this point of the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because I'm on the grind to hit 5K subs by the start of next season. And also, comment your favorite Goran Dragic memory so I know you're a real one, and stay to the end. I do appreciate all of y'all continue the draft coverage as we come up to the draft on June 26th. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need that head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.